Hello everyone, in today's video I'm going to show you how to play the game on easy mode, with two builds using only death spells and related weapons. I did not expect the Gravekeeper build to be that strong, so I'm very excited to share it with you guys. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, because I'm doing a build for every magic type in the game, and if you love a certain type but don't know how to build around it, I will present to you multiple options for every one of them. Now let's begin. For this build, we are not using Endurance, Dexterity and Arcane, and we need a minimum stat investment into Strength, while some of our points will go into Vigor, Mind and Fate. The rest will go into Intelligence. For that reason, we will settle for the Astrologer class. And this is how our stat spread looks at level 100. 35 Vigor should give us decent HP, we are not looking to engage in melee combat unless we have no other choice. 27 Mind should give us enough FP to spam our spells. Only 9 endurance because we are using very light armor and we don't swing our weapon for a living. 10 strength and 12 dexterity because with the Great Rune active we will have the minimum requirement to wield the weapon without problems. 58 intelligence will give our weapon and spells great damage. 19 fate is the minimum we need to use our spells. We need no point into arcane, so it stays at 9. For this build we are using Godric's Great Rune. The plus 5 points into every stat is amazing because we use all of them except Arcane, and these are our stats with the rune active. Our main weapon is the Death Poker. It's an amazing greatsword that has C scaling in strength, B in dexterity and D in intelligence. Now you may be asking, but Mike, if you have better scaling in strength and dex, why did you pump so many points into intel? Well, because of the Ghost Flame Ignition Ash of War. Its damage scales purely with intelligence. In my opinion, is one of the coolest weapons in the game, because you can do more actions with its skill. For example, a simple L2 will create a timed bomb in front of you. It will stagger smaller enemies and after a few seconds it will explode on its own, dealing good damage. L2 followed by an R2 will make the bomb explode instantly, dealing more damage than before. An L2 followed by an R1 will create a straight line of Ghost Flame, damaging everyone who stays inside and, as the other actions, apply Frostbite on enemies. This is especially effective in small corridors or against enemies that don't move too much. In the offhand we use the Prince of Death staff. It has 262 sorcery scaling and its main role is to boost the damage of our spells. As a backup staff, we use Lusat's staff, which, when we are not targeted by opponents, we will use it to cast our spells for extra damage. It has 329 sorcery scaling. When we cast spells, make sure the Prince of Death staff is equipped in the other hand, so we can get maximum damage out of the spells. We are using Fia's robe and hood in combination with Zamor gauntlets and leg wraps. We have crappy resistances, but normally we shouldn't need them. Anyway, I suggest eating some boiled crab for extra protection at all time. And you've got to admit that we look absolutely amazing. The Shard of Alexander is a must-have because we rely on Death Poker skill very often and this talisman improves its damage by a decent amount. Graver Mass is another must-have because we use Ancient Death Rancor as much as we can, and the talisman greatly increases its potency. Magic Scorpion Charm is also a must-have for its ability to improve the magic damage we deal, and we deal plenty of it. Its downside of receiving more damage shouldn't bother us too much because we will be far from the opponents. Dragoncrest Grey Shield Talisman is the only non-must-have talisman and you can use the Marika Sorcery for extra damage and FP, but only if you are not a target for opponents, because your damage mitigation will be pathetic and you will receive extra damage from every source. If you see that your summons are about to die and you don't kill the boss, quickly swap to the Dragoncrest Grey Shield and eat a crab, and you will have better resistances. Sadly, except the Rancor Call and Ancient Death Rancor, the other spells are not worth it. Not at this level at least. Ancient Death Rancor is our main damage dealing source, and it must be spammed for as long as you can in order to defeat the enemies as fast as possible. It has decent tracking and a very fast casting time, and if all the projectiles hit, we can deal a lot of damage. As for Rancor Call, I only use it if I don't have enough FP to use Ancient Death Rancor, which has never happened with a 10 to 4 flask distribution. The Great Shield Soldier Ashes are my pick for this build, and they are extremely fitting. They are very tanky and will do a great job keeping the enemy focused because they are 5, and if the opponents come after me, they will throw some dead flame pots at them and will try to draw aggro back on them. Overall, amazing summons, their only weakness being AoE damage and damage over time. For the Flask of Wondrous Physique, I'm using the Intelligence Knot tier for the 10 bonus intel for 3 minutes. The other tier is the Cerulean Hidden tier, which eliminates the FP consumption for 15 seconds. This will allow us to spam the Ancient Death Rancor spell at the beginning of the battle for huge damage. After the effect ends, you can mix it up with the Death Poker. The last consumable I use is the Boiled Crab, which is also a must-have. The bonus physical resistance it provides is welcome because we are lacking in this area. But if you also use the Dragon Crest Great Shield, you should manage very well. And these were my builds for the DEATH Sorcery. I hope you like them, and as with every build I present, you can further improve it with higher levels or other spells such as Golden Vow. I'm only using what the magic type has to offer to prove to you that, if you know how to build around them, every magic type is viable and strong in its own way. This was all for now. Please subscribe and let me know down in the comments what magic type I should cover next. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.